Hello students, today we will study about the types of simple permanent tissues. In the previous video lesson, we studied that when meristematic tissues reach maturity and have lost the capability to divide, these tissues are then known as the permanent tissues, which are of two types: simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue. Now we will study about the simple permanent tissues in detail. The simple permanent tissues are of three types: parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Let us first study about its first type, that is parenchyma tissues. Children, these tissues are made up of living cells and these are found throughout the plant body. As we have studied, these tissues are also known as the filler tissues. Why? Because they fill the spaces between other plant tissues. Their cell wall is quite thin, which makes these tissues very soft, and there are intercellular spaces present between the cells of these tissues. Now, some of their important functions are storage of food and assimilation of the energy. Assimilation means utilization. The second most important function is storage of waste products like gums, and so one of its types are storage parenchyma tissues. The other most important function is they provide mechanical strength by maintaining the turgidity of the cell. Turgidity means the capacity to hold water. Now, based on their functions and the place where they are situated in the plant body, the parenchyma tissues are of three types. The first type is the sclerenchyma. The word sclerenchyma is made up of two words. Scleren is taken from the word chloroplast and chyma is taken from the word parenchyma. These cells have chloroplast, which is present in the green parts of the plant, like the leaves, in which their main function will be photosynthesis. The next type of parenchyma tissues are sclerenchyma. Now these tissues have large air spaces between their cells, and so they help in floating of the aquatic plants, and they also help in the gaseous exchange in the terrestrial plants. Now moving further, let us study about the second type of the simple permanent tissue, which is collenchyma. Children, these tissues are also made up of living cells. Now these tissues are mainly responsible for two things: flexibility and mechanical support. Because of these tissues, plants can withstand heavy rains and winds. Its cell wall shows localized thickenings, which can be at the angles of the cell or tangential walls or between the intercellular spaces between the two cells of these tissues. The next and the last type of simple permanent tissues are sclerenchyma tissues. Now, unlike the other two types, the sclerenchyma tissues are made up of completely dead cells having heavy thick walls. The cell wall undergoes so much thickenings that their protoplasm gets crushed at maturity. Their main function is to provide mechanical strength to the plant. These are found in hard parts of the plant, such as hard shell of nuts and husk of coconuts. The cells of these tissues come in different shapes and sizes, but two main types are Sclerenchyma fibers and Scleroids. Now the Sclerenchyma fibers are narrow and elongated dead cells with pointed ends. Many of these fibers are used to make textile fibers and other woven clothes. The next type is the Scleroids. These are irregular in shape and they are usually found in hard coating of nuts. They are even called stone cells because hard nuts resemble stone. So children, this was all about the simple permanent tissues. Now in the next video lesson, we will study about the complex permanent tissues.